Yeah, I'm 25. I got married only 7 months ago, and even then I made big plans for my life, that in a year with my wife we will have a child. And then buy a small house in the countryside. For a big one in our city with our salaries, we are unlikely to earn. I'm a realist. We'll build a house, get a dog, raise children, and live happily ever after. I'm such a romantic. All my life I wanted a big family, but my plans were not destined to come true. The other day, my wife shocked me by saying that she does not want children in the next few years, that's for sure. You see, she has a career, girlfriends with whom she sees every weekend, and in general she wants to live for herself. Not for me or us, but for herself. When I asked her why she got married, she smirked and said, "You're handsome, and I wanted to outdo the girls." You did. What else can I say? And without realizing it, she pushed me into cheating. Well, if I'm handsome, why don't I take advantage of it? I thought about my decision for a long time. It was possible, of course, to go the other way, to file for divorce and not ruin each other's lives. But I really wanted to hurt her. I knew that it's not the heart or the soul that gets hurt, but the ego first and foremost. But can you imagine if the precious girlfriends found out that Catherine, the first hottie in their group, had been cheated on by her husband? Then she's not so hot after all. She didn't give enough, so it's somewhere in the relationship. That's basically what she was. Perfectly conscious cheating, in my opinion, is sleeping with your wife's closest friend. But I never liked Zoe. She was like a boy. That heavy gait, the broad chin, the thinness that no clothes could hide. Every time I saw her, I got the shivers. And she was staring so hard that it felt like if Catherine left us alone right now, she'd lunge at me. I dismissed the friend option. I didn't want to go pick someone up at a club either. It remained only to use the internet and dating sites. Although this way, I was not particularly happy. I would like to meet and immediately read in her eyes that she is ready and do it roughly, without shyness and any tenderness, and then break up for good. Probably, I would not have been destined to cheat on my wife if it had not happened one event. A fateful event that happened at such a crucial moment for me. My mother-in-law came to visit. That's when Jocelyn came into the kitchen. I was already sitting at the table drinking my coffee. Nothing stronger? My mother-in-law started the conversation. She sank down on a chair and put her foot on her leg. Then I took out a bottle of good expensive whiskey from the kitchen cupboard and took ice out of the freezer. My mother-in-law took the glass from my hands and tasted the drink. Her cheeks flushed in the warmth, and she looked like a young girl who didn't mind getting naughty. Her foot under the table caught mine, and I choked on a sip of coffee. "When's Catherine coming?" Jocelyn asked, as if nothing had happened, and sipped more whiskey. "Tonight," I answered in a husky voice, and I felt a fire starting inside, a sweet aching in my lower abdomen. This is what I wanted so badly. Sitting in front of me, sipping an iced whiskey, and keeping her beautiful green eyes on my face. As if reading my thoughts, my mother-in-law reached out and touched my hair. "Lucky Catherine," she said softly, and moved closer to my face. And before I could respond, she kissed me gently on the lips, as if testing to see if I would go along. Thoughts of the fact that this was my mother-in-law, and this was not the way to do it, faded into the background. Even if my wife appeared on the kitchen doorstep now, I wouldn't be able to break the kiss. The excitement inside was building like a wild beast, ready to burst out at any second. Jocelyn's scent was as intoxicating as whiskey. I nuzzled into her neck, and her hand slid under my shirt and found my belt. It was like a dream, and I didn't want to wake up. I cheated on my wife right on the kitchen table, on the tablecloth she had spent so long choosing. Then my mother-in-law and I moved into our bedroom and continued our sessions. It was amazing. It was like nothing I could have ever dreamed of. When it was over, I brought whiskey and made myself comfortable on the bed. We lay side by side naked, discussing the weather and drinking whiskey straight from the bottle. I felt alive and happy, in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. When we finished the whiskey, Jocelyn gently stroked my cheek, asking me what we were going to do next. I don't know what she meant, whether it was to tell my wife that I had cheated or what we were going to do, but I didn't say anything and nestled against her lips. It had been a month since the day I first cheated on my wife with my mother-in-law. We had become lovers, wild and insatiable, who loved each other like it was the last time. Catherine suspected nothing of our affair or even had a clue. The thought of my betrayal could not even enter her pretty little head. Every night she discussed topics that didn't interest me, such as what hairstyle to wear to a meeting with the girls, whether it was worth buying a coat or a fur coat, and whether that lipstick was aging her. I agreed with her, thoughtlessly answered, and waited with bated breath for a new meeting with my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law always came as liberated as possible. From the threshold she fell into my lips and led me to the bedroom, and I obeyed, and wanted only one thing, that these meetings never ended. It happened 3 months after the day I became my mother-in-law's lover. I had 3 days off, so Jocelyn and I were already in the bedroom, trying new positions and exploring each other's heated bodies for the 1,000th time. We were so engrossed that we didn't hear the front door slam. If before I wanted my wife to catch me with another woman, now everything had changed. I seemed to have fallen in love, lost in those enchanting emerald eyes. When my wife saw us naked and happy, she made a scandal, throwing at me everything she could get her hands on. She broke an alarm clock, a vase, and several bottles of perfume. At that minute, I greedily inhaled the odors of expensive perfume that hung in the room, and the bitterness from my hysterical wife, and the relief I felt myself. Still, I was very glad Catherine had found out about everything, even if it wasn't how I'd envisioned it all. While my wife was throwing things at me, I thought of Jocelyn and me, of the revenge I'd uncovered, and of the fact that we could no longer hide, sleep in the same room and meet in the morning together, have intercourse to wake up faster. But as it turned out, my mother-in-law didn't share my views at all. While we were arguing, she quickly got dressed and left. Then, as I found out, she made me out to be the culprit and said that she had broken up with her ex, just wanted someone to talk to express herself, and I had seduced her. I didn't mind, took the blame, feeling like cold hands, pain clutching my heart. It's amazing because you really don't know where you can find and where you can lose. My wife filed for divorce. I didn't object, packed my things and left. I wasn't thinking about Catherine at all, reveling in the fact that I had managed to hurt her. I was thinking about how much I had hurt myself. I wished I could see Jocelyn for just a moment, touch her hair and smell the sweet scent of her perfume. But she didn't pick up her cell phone, didn't answer her texts, as if what happened was really my fault alone. And only once. Then we met with her in a restaurant. I was having lunch with a colleague at work. When I saw her at a neighboring table, she was gorgeous as always, in a tight black dress, high heels, and a white smile on her bright scarlet lips. Her beau was no older than I was, and he held her hand reverently, as if he was afraid she was about to fly away and he would never see her again. Our eyes met, and Jocelyn saluted me with a glass, as if it were nothing, and I did not remain indebted. Our paths had not crossed since, but I still waited with bated breath to see if we would ever meet again.